going to get into a little topic called stumbling for alpha on trade ideas using a top list. But for now, let's take a look at what our cluster spit out today from the AI channel. And before we go into the individual trades here, I've got a couple of charts up here. Just keep in mind that one up here at the top is daily. This is going to be a 5-minute for when we want to look at those patterns. But let's pull up. SPY's already pulled up in this daily here. Okay, so here's the pre-market activity today for the SPY, and here's the regular session today. And look at the action that we had today. I mean, you know, we were in less than a 1-point range all day. So for a lot of you out there, it might have been kind of a sparse trading day, you know. And if you did get a good trade, you're like, yeah, I just don't know whether I should go long or short here. But see, the beautiful thing about the AI window is it made all those decisions for you today. And predominantly, the trades that it spit out were long. So let's take a look. Now I'm going to sort this window. And we might not have the time because, you know, I don't want to eat up all the time going over all the trades. But let's just take a look from the open. So now, of course, the market opens nice and bright and early here in California. So these are the opening trades, all right? 19 seconds into the open of the U.S. equity markets, we had Disney come out as a long signal here, a price of 106.06. And for those of you who might be wondering, the price in blue over here is going to coincide with the entry price that we have here. Okay, so the arrow here indicates the time that it was generated, and then the price over here. So 106.06 today, and you know the stock closed at 106.36, but was pretty boring, just like the rest of the markets today. So not a huge winner, but a winner nonetheless. Now let's take a look at about 1 minute and 24 seconds into the open. DAL. Here's the entry bar, entry price, and nice and easy. Nice and easy right up. Nothing to worry about there. UNH. About 5 minutes into the open. Price 120.06 right in here. And once again, my oh my, what a nice opening 3 trades to put on if you're watching a window like this. 3 trades, 3 winners thus far. Now, while we are looking at these trades, notice that most of these trades are long trades. We've got a few short ones in here. So let's look at the first short that was generated. 266.65 shortly into the open. Nice downward pressure if you held the trade all day. 266.65 looks like it closed right here, 264. So, you know, even right here in the money for 2+ points, depending on your time frame, you know, this is one that was, you know, originally designed to hold until about 10 minutes until the close. And if you did that, you did very well. But there were plenty of opportunities all day in this trading range to lock in significant cash. Next on the list, yet another long play. Everybody knows who Nike is. Did this stock have some Nike shoes on today? Because it sure did run. 125.41, entry bar here. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, in a market where it was hard to pick the direction today, we're off to an exceptionally good start. V, about 10 minutes into the open. 74.19, entry bar here. Whoosh. I mean, I just don't know how anybody can be not ecstatic with what they're seeing here. And just keep in mind, from my perspective, you know, been doing this for a very long time, 20 years to be exact on the trading side. Never have I ever seen anything like what we are doing with this technology. All right, let's see. HOG happens to be another short. So here we have the entry bar. Looks like this one, pretty much called the short at the bottom on this one. And these things are going to happen from time to time. Taking into consideration winner, 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 winner. To have a losing trade come in there is completely normal. And, of course, these are all set up for 1-point stop losses. So if you did lose, your losses are contained. And of course, for those of you who are familiar with the Smart Stop filter that we have, you could have even, probably paired your losses a little smaller by using the Smart Stop. All right, let's take a look at a couple more here. MCK, about 12 minutes into the session, of course, going long again. 189.41 here. And, this one is also geared to hold towards the close, or about 30 minutes before the close, as we can see the stop here. But once again, did exactly what we would want it to do getting long here. Just another incredible chart pattern in an otherwise kind of nebulous day as far as which direction should we focus on. All right, RCL here, entry price of 92.57. So once again, a small loser on the long side. So, we could keep going through these trades, but what you're going to find out is it's just more of the same song and dance. So the good news is things are working exactly as anticipated, and for those of you who have been patiently, ever so patiently waiting for us to get all the bugs worked out, that time is drawing near. So as I said earlier, hopefully with the next couple of days, we will see the release of the AI window. All right, so I just wanted to give everybody a little update and let everybody know that things are working as they should. Just getting the bugs ironed out, and hopefully we'll have that out to you guys soon enough. All right, now that we've got that out of the way, what I'd like to do here is talk about something we call browsing for alpha with trade ideas. So before we get started here, some of you may have heard of this service out there, some of you maybe not. It's something that myself and Dan and some of the other people at Trade Ideas have been using for entertainment purposes over the past 8-9 years. It's a little add-on that you can download and attach to your web browser called StumbleUpon. And what StumbleUpon is, when you first sign up, you create a login, and there's all these topics that you can select. I have an interest in this topic, whether it be technology, nanotechnology, trading the markets, I like shoes, whatever it is. So you check off all the topics, and then it installs a StumbleUpon button on your browser. So you click the StumbleUpon button, and all of a sudden a really cool website pops up with one of the topics that you've indicated that you have an interest in. And for those of you who have not used StumbleUpon, it's very addicting because you just keep clicking and you're like, this is really cool stuff. Click, 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 click. Well, that's not too different than what we do here at Trade Ideas. When we're working with an alert or a filter set, what do? We come in here and we tell it what we like by setting up filters and alerts. And we don't even have to push a button. The windows just show us what it is that we're trying to find. So what we can do here with these top lists, everybody seems to kind of get more or less in a rut from time to time. They watch their top list. It does a certain thing. But we can go so much deeper with a top list just by adding some additional columns and doing multiple sorts. So the first way I would like to illustrate this, obviously, I've got quite a few columns set up in this top list. Make sure everybody can see this. So for example, the 30-minute change. Most people out there may, I would go out on a limb here and say most people probably aren't keeping very close eyes on the change in the 30-minute period. So just to make sure I've sorted this right, I'm going to resort change by 30-minute period, largest to smallest. And all of a sudden at the top of the list, we see NIHD. So let's take a look. Once again, 5-minute chart down here, longer term chart up here. Now, obviously this is the action for today in the 5-minute time frame for NIHD. So when we pull this up and we see this type of activity, not a lot going on over the past couple of days, had a little action here, but nothing really stands out on this chart. Big deal, this stock just moved up, one click, which is a quarter, in this scale over here. But once we look at the longer term chart up here, we can see that the stock is starting to base out. It found its bottom here, it's been hugging it, hasn't really went any lower. But nothing's going on here. So the takeaway here is that nothing is going on in NIHD yet. But it's definitely something that everybody here should probably keep on their radar moving forward, because eventually something will happen. When it starts to escalate and get back up here and break out up here, that's too late to be in it. You want to already be in it when it does that. So looking at more or less what the stock has done and the lower resistance levels of support that it's already put in, it could make you feel real confident about getting long in that stock right now before the moves happened. Predictive analysis is what we're keying on here. So everybody probably just wants to write down NIHD right now, keep it on the list, watch it, see what happens. So that's one way that we can do things here. But let's talk about percent of float traded next. And everybody knows that, well, let me rephrase that. A lot of people are aware of the fact that the smaller the float is on a stock, that when the volume comes into that stock, the more the stock is going to move one way or the other. The smaller the float, when the volume comes in, the more that stock will move one way or the other. So what I did just now is I resorted this whole list by percent of float traded thus far today. At the top of the list, Momo. And it would appear from this chart that Momo has got some Momo. So if we're looking at the daily here, back here in May, something obviously went on with Momo. Big gap up, runs all the way up here close to 20. And guys, from a move from the $11 to $12 range up to the $20 range in a period of, maybe not even 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about a week's time. And then look what happened to the stock. Obviously news came out, maybe it was perceived as good, whatever the case may be. The stock reacted significantly. And then guess what? It didn't just give that move back all at once. I mean, we traded all the way out to here. Who knows what's going on when it takes the little dip here and then quickly snaps back. Obviously, there was something good with the company, or what was perceived to be good. And then already we're almost all the way back down to these lower support levels. But guess what? Same here. If we draw a line straight across, we're back to these lower support levels. So we can also make the assumption that whatever drove the price up here, the stock digested, maybe some people just wanted to take profits. But what we could probably safely assume here is that the little base out period here is over with, and the stock could very well possibly be back up to this level and beyond in X amount of time. So once again, it's browsing for alpha, looking at these patterns and being predictive. Very powerful combination here. So while we're talking about the percent of float traded, which can be very powerful, we've already illustrated two different ways to use this list to find basically similar patterns. Different stocks will pop up for different metrics. So now, let's take a look and sort by this right here. Efficiency small cap, the higher the number here, the better. And when we look at the stocks sorted from this column, LNTH comes up. And very interesting here, LNTH today. Here's the action for LNTH today. So once again, had we been aware of this stock on the open today, look what we could have gleaned just from the intraday perspective, while at the same time knowing or having pretty good confidence that we've found a stock that is bottoming out on a longer term time frame. Looking here, on the open this morning, wouldn't have been too harrowing of a trade to buy the stock and put a stop loss in, at these lower levels here. And had we done that, we would be getting paid today and hopefully getting paid more in the future as this pattern starts to coil back up. So, just with this one list, we've illustrated 3 different ways to resort the list to find unique perspectives and stocks, with different symbols exhibiting the same type patterns. Once again, we could easily sort by this column right here, position in the 20-day average. Obviously, the ones that are all buried to the right here are beyond the 20-day average. Or we could, sort the other way. Look, stock pops up again. The same one that we just looked at. So by resorting by different metrics as columns, different filters as columns, we can get different plays with the same type of patterns. It just takes a little bit of, multiple sorting on different frames of reference. So when we're browsing in this capacity, and we were looking at change in 30 minutes, biggest to smallest. What if we flip this the other way? Ozark Bank. Nothing special going on right here, but if we look at the longer term, it's approaching those all-time highs. So once again, another stock to maybe keep eyes on for the future. All right, well, I think we're at a pretty good stopping point at this point for answering questions. Scott, are you with me?
Hey there. Yeah, so if anyone has any questions they'd like to cover today, please type that into your questions panel. And we'll get to that. In the meantime, I can point your attention to the handout that you have in your GoToWebinar interface. Should open a PDF for you, basically highlighting the fact that since today's Columbus Day, we have an all-day sale going on. If you just go to our website and select to get a subscription, you can get 55% off your first month. You can get 30% off your first year, or 20% off of the odds maker, which is needed for the AI channel. And of course, we also have the combination package still running until we release the AI channel, which is a full year of trade ideas and the lifetime odds maker license for just $10.88. And you can go to that link in your handout to take that. All right, we've got some questions finally. Does the AI channel take into consideration the data from the pre-market, like gappers, or only until closing bell from the previous day? It's from Carl there.
Yeah, that would depend on the that would actually depend on the filter complement that the specific strategy is using. Assuming that all of those filters report pre-market, then that strategy would also report pre-market.
I've got a question from Dallas. Jamie, could you show him how to use the formula editor to create a filter? Something like 5-minute range, 10-minute range, users having issue getting formula editor to recognize and approve.
You know what? That would probably be better handled just with a one-on-one session with the guy to teach him how to use the formula editor. So,
yeah, so
no
email,
problem there. We just need to.
just email info@TradeIdeas, and we'll schedule something for you.
Yeah, no problem there.
Could you show a filter or column for number of trades on the day? Or that's something Stuart's making a feature request, I guess. We'll see a filter or column for number of trades on the day. I believe that's for the AI, he's probably asking. So it's a feature request.
Oh, you mean how many?
How many trades it triggered, possibly? The strategy might be what he's asking.
Oh, today? Today or on any given day?
Not clear. I think he's talking about for the AI, probably for the day. Kind of like, the alert count column we have in the alert window. Yeah, I think it's a feature request.
Right. Okay.
Yeah,
because
Stuart, you might want to wait until you get the beta of the AI, play with it a bit, and then email requests in for new features. Rupesh, the best way to get real-time trade ideas is to sign up for it and get a subscription. You can start with the month or the year. How do you add the percent of float column? Why don't you show David that?
Right. So if we pop in here, and we go to my column, percent of float traded is a custom formula, right? So I can easily insert this custom formula into your login. It has to be assigned to your login, and once we assign that custom formula to you, it'll show up with a U prefix. At which point in time, you can add it and then install it as a column, the same way that you install every other column. So if you would like that percent of float traded filter added to your login, just shoot Scott an email at info@TradeIdeas or email me directly at jhodge@TradeIdeas.com, and I'll be happy to insert that for you.
Yeah, Doug was asking about SMS alerts. Yes, Doug, we do email info@. I think we covered that in a webinar a couple of weeks ago. We'll try and find that for you.
I'm sorry, Scott, can you repeat that?
Oh, there was a request for SMS alert messaging. I said we do have that.
Okay.
Email info@TradeIdeas for help with that. If anyone wants the positive money lubricant, email info@TradeIdeas.com or send you that link. Yeah, Christopher says, isn't the flaw in the AI channel that as it becomes more popular, you will have a large amount of people in the same position with similar stops that institution and market makers will hunt? Christopher, I hope we're that successful. If we have enough people in the industry using our AI channel, and that will mean magic, we'll probably be purchased by.
Right. That would technically mean that Trade Ideas traders would start controlling the markets. That wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing.
It'd be a little different than high frequency machines. Well, who has a link for that? Do you have the positive money lubricant link? Why don't you just throw that in the main chat window there?
Not a problem.
Yeah, just telling people to email for it, but they're impatient. Do you want to explain briefly what the TIQ grid is for Mike?
Yeah, sure. 1 second. Let me make sure I message this to the right.
Well, just put it in the main chat on your main panel, not the questions panel. That way everyone will get it.
Okay. Stand by. There we go.
All right, so y'all should be able to find that in the main chat panel, not the questions panel.
Right, and everybody needs to be aware that these two guys right here are custom formulas.
So if you need help with those custom formulas, that you should definitely email info@tradeideas.com. It's a little beyond the scope of this particular
Yeah, so
one.
if any people out there load this window up and you notice these columns are not showing up, email me and I can insert those custom formulas into your layout. No problem.
Yeah, we just need to make your account have access to them. Is the percent of float traded one of those columns you were just talking about there, Jamie?
Right, it's the
Okay.
percent of float traded
That
and the
answers
efficiency small
that
cap.
answers iTrade's question. Yeah, iTrade. If you need that column, just email either jhodge at tradeideas.com or info@tradeideas.com, and we'll connect that directly to you. Carl's asking. He says he has a turbo brakes up versus turbo brakes down count window. Is that window
Yes.
kind of like watching the NYSE tick?
That's a very good question. You know, the tick is advancers versus decliners. And today was a very, very good example of how using the compare count window that I watch for turbo brakes up and down, which, just to recap, the only reason I watch those windows is because of the accelerated volume factor on the 1 minute time frame. And with the filtering that's employed, which is very minimal on those two windows, you're getting a very good snapshot of the most actively traded stocks each and every day. So if you're watching that through a compare count window, like I was this morning, after the first 30 minutes, which the AI channel already was telling us, go long, go long, go long, but after the, whatever your metric is, first 10 minutes, first 15 minutes, first 30 minutes, you would have seen, if you were watching that compare count window, that there was a green bias. And that helps you figure out where the angle is on the market today, because once again, looking at this chart here on a 5 minute, are we going up or are we going down? Well, we're doing both. Well, where's the party today? The party was on the long side, where everybody congregated and was trading. There was a lot of buying going on today, even though the overall S&P doesn't reflect that. You could say that, there was a slightly more buying than selling going on in the overall markets, but most of that activity was on normal to slightly below normal volume. If you looked at the stocks that were being heavily traded, it was buy, 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 buy all day. So I hope that answered the question about the compare count.
Any other questions? Go ahead and ask those in the questions panel, please. Some of them missed the very beginning about the trade lubricant. I'm just telling them to. I gave them the link and tell them to email tradeideas.com for the custom formulas. Why isn't percent of float traded included in the software, Chris? Because it's Jamie's custom formula.
Actually, I got to give credit to Dan on that one. But, it's one of the things that can be created, but it's easy enough to transfer it to you. So if you would like it, let us know, and we'll put it in there for you.
Great. We've got a question from Sue about how to access the odds maker that he purchased on Friday from an alert window. Why don't you go ahead and briefly show him how to find it? Because he's a relatively new user.
Yes, no problem whatsoever. Let's say I have to get an alert window up here first. As you can see, my default one just spawns the turbo brakes window. So to access the odds maker, and keep in mind, a lot of people can't find it because they're trying to access it in a top list window, which, we can only backtest alert windows. So as soon as we right click, we just come down here to run odds maker. Boom, the odds maker panel pops up. If it's the first time that you've ever accessed the odds maker, you will get a splash welcome screen that you can just, tell it not to come back up. But pretty simple. Right click, run odds maker.
Hey, Dallas sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, the user that was wanting to know that probably sounds like they need a training session, so by all means, contact me and we'll set that up at your earliest convenience.
Yeah, the easiest way is just go to support, the support section, click on training, and fill out the form. Dallas has got another question for us about creating a customer formula for previous 5-minute candles high and low. Is there a way to do that? So can you create a customer formula for previous 5-minute candles high and low?
the high and low of the previous 5-minute candle.
That's
Hey Barry, are you listening in on this one, Barry? I don't know if that one's doable or not off the top of my head. It is doable? Oh, Barry is listening, but
yeah.
no, it is
Barry's
not
not
doable.
on mic.
Yeah, and that's fine. That's fine. I didn't think that it was doable, but wanted to confirm. However, when TIQ or the grid system does come out, then it will be configurable just like anything that you could imagine.
So in that
would
case,
be
that would be
configurable.
answered. That would be answered by when the TIQ becomes available.
That is correct.
Okay, gotcha. Last question from Carl. He says he knows that you have your own strategies using volume radar, running up sectors, etc. But do you think you'll be changing up your strategies a bit when the AI channel's launched and take some of those alerts?
I won't be changing what I do at all. I'll just be adding AI trades to my repertoire.
Dallas is kind of hoping that we have the TIQ out by Christmas. I don't know anything about
Well,
it, at least
you know,
that one.
I was actually speaking with Santa Claus earlier, and he was saying maybe it might be more of a New Year's party. Christmas might be, we'd all like, hey, if it came out, it'd be a hell of a Christmas. But from what I'm being told, we're looking at first of the year, sometime in January for TIQ or grids, but you never know.
Hey, Adrian, you absolutely get the AI with the TI membership, but you need to have the odds maker license as well. Let me see. Another question from Sue. How do I look up an individual stock with the graph? He tried, but he could not. Maybe just show him that if he clicks into the chart and starts typing, he can just change it.
Right. So if I want to pull up Tesla, I just simply click on the chart, type it in, voila.
Oh, sorry, Sue.
Now, of course, if you double-click on any TI window, these charts are linked, but you can, manually input a symbol just by doing the following.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, we hope to have the new release with this stuff out to you guys soon, probably in a week or so. We're getting really close. And again, if anyone does not currently have the odds maker license, it's a good time to get it before the AI comes out, since we're heavily discounting it with the combination package, that 1088 package. It's in your handout. If you download the handout from the GoToWebinar presentation, the links to that. Also, today everything's on sale. If you just want to get the odds maker for $880, instead of $1,100. Just put it in your cart today and check out. It'll only be $880.
And once again, just looking at the normal pricing, I mean, that's a steal in and of itself. So any of you that have been on the fence that want access to this TI, the AI channel, could probably be a very wise investment on your behalf moving forward.
So if anyone have any other questions, well, the TIQ grid be included with the AI odds maker. So does the odds maker give them access to the TIQ? I know it does for RBI and grid and GBI.
I'm not really sure about that. We'll have to follow up on that and see what the plan is as far as when TIQ or when grids does come out.
Yeah, I think when it gets
closer, is it part of the package or what?
Yeah, when it gets closer to release, we'll have a better idea of how that's going to be structured within the software. Yeah, Carl, you're going to need to download a new version with the AI channel when we release it. We'll be broadcasting that all over the place and in the webinars. If you receive any of our emails or follow our Facebook or Twitter, you'll know.
Well, I noticed, Debbie was asking the question, what is TIQ and RBI? Well, TIQ is what we use for complete customization right now. And it's the framework that correct me if I'm wrong here, but it's the framework on which the grid is being built upon. And the RBI and the GBI windows that have been created are using that technology. So that's like some of the first windows that technology is creating. But in the future, when grids comes live, then anybody will be able to, create completely custom windows like the RBI and the green bar Nord and the red bar Nord that are currently, in the build.
I guess Sue said previous question she wasn't clear. Oh, it was about selecting a chart. To select a stock screen that you want to see, example ZINC. Well, so I'm not sure how that clarifies. So the previous question was, you're not a member since Friday. Oh no, that was a previous one. Yeah, I'm not sure how that can be clarified.
Okay, so let me see if I got this right. So if I pull up Zinc, which by the way was one of our AI picks a few days ago, I believe.
Maybe she means
anyway,
the single stock window.
Yeah, if you want to see just basic, characteristics of Zinc, we could always go here. And this, by the way, is a single stock window that I just pulled from my toolbar. Single stock window. And Horsehead Holdings is Zinc, obviously. And so, we can attach any filters or any metrics that we want to see to be displayed here. Unless I'm misunderstanding the question.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I said a random stock. Oh, how do you see the stock? Still not sure what you're asking there, Sue. See a chart for a random stock? Or a stock that's on one of your alerts or windows? The 15-minute chart.
Okay, so we put this on a 15-minute here. And here's Zinc for today, right? So, I'm not sure I understand the question, but, if we pulled up Zinc and we were like, okay, we would have liked to have been alerted, when this big red bar was going on here. Well, we do have mechanisms within Trade Ideas that let you see what was going on in Trade Ideas during this bar. And, that's easily accessible by any user just by navigating to our website, and I'll show you where to go. But we can easily pick that bar apart if we wanted to try to find what was going on in this 5-minute bar. That's the opening bar today. So all we have to do is say Zinc, start at 9:30 for a duration of 5 minutes. So if we want to see all of the things that were happening for Zinc within Trade Ideas in this 5-minute bar here, here's where we can see that. So these are all of the alerts that fired for Zinc in that 5-minute period this morning. So all of these alerts fired within Trade Ideas, and it's ranking them by frequency. So I'm not sure if that was the question, is how do we look at a chart and attempt to find things that would work in TI?
I think it seemed to help her. Sue, if you have any more questions about that, just contact us at info@tradeideas.com and we'll help you individually. We can set up a one-on-one or maybe just answer by email. Dale has said he's tried to link Trade Ideas to TOS charts, but he has not been able to get it to work. So he's having some linking issues with TOS.
TOS Thinkorswim?
Thinkorswim, yeah.
Right, that's a known bug. It's a change that occurred many years ago on their side of the fence. Our linking used to work flawlessly. They made a change.
You know what, Dale?
Now the linking...
Email them. Email them and complain that they haven't helped us fix the linking yet. The more people that email... Is Thinkorswim from...
Ameritrade.
Ameritrade, yeah, okay. Yeah, just email Ameritrade. We also used to have a trading bot with them. They need to get back on the ball if they want us to be able to interface with them correctly. And the more squeaky wheels that they have, the more likely they'll cooperate with our developers again.
Right.
Yeah, Carl. That's right. Hey, any improvements, Jamie, on the IB linking? Do you know anything about that? I think there's supposed to have been some.
Well, see, you just hit on the two hot points. Interactive brokers and Thinkorswim, I've always had the known linking issues. And, sometimes the interactive brokers works for people. Sometimes it doesn't. And a lot of it sometimes can be your local computer settings. So, best thing that I could say is we can always hop on a session I can try to fix it for you, but there are no guarantees. When we're talking about IB and Thinkorswim, you know,
Yeah, we're more than happy to hop
can't really
on.
guarantee anything. Yeah.
Yeah, we're more than happy to hop on with you and try and help you fix your individual solutions. Sometimes, like Jamie mentioned, it can be individual computer settings that can have something to do with the linking, and occasionally we can solve those just by hopping on a support session with you. So just contact us and we'll try and figure something out.
Well, Joe B
Joe's suggesting,
just
yeah.
gave a little thing there.
Yeah, Joe is suggesting that with interactive brokers, you must link in classic mode and then link to Mosaic. So, Carl, if that makes sense to you, you might want to try that out. And Chris, yes, Lightspeed is supported, and it will continue to be supported. We're changing at the end of the month with Lightspeed. We're no longer going to have Lightspeed customers are no longer going to have access to trade ideas and the odds maker for free, but we are discounting existing Lightspeed subscribers that want to keep using Trade Ideas and Brokerage Plus or the bot, and we're going to be releasing quite soon before that happens at the end of the month a new build of Trade Ideas that makes the Brokerage Plus available for Lightspeed subscribers from the general build that everyone downloads. So that it'll be fine, but it will no longer be free for Lightspeed users. A Benzinga news channel. Well, we do work with Benzinga. We haven't integrated that. Well, I know we're going to start getting some data from Benzinga, but as for actually carrying their news feed, not quite sure yet, but we are very friendly with them. So if anyone's got anything else, if not, I want to thank everyone for joining us and remind you that everything's on sale today. Doug's asking, am I required to link or can I just use your platform? I know I asked this earlier, but it's worded differently now. Link with what, Doug? You don't have to link with any other platform. You can just use Trade Ideas as a market research tool and stock scanner and backtester. No necessity to link with any execution platform or anything. Yep. Yeah, Doug, we do have charting, so you don't need to have anything else for that if you don't need a lot of fancy study overlays. Our charting is very good. All right. Anyone else? I think that's good, guys. Thanks for showing up and attending the webinar. There'll be a recording available on our YouTube channel by tomorrow. Thanks for showing up. Remember, everything's on sale until midnight. No promo code needed, so get that odds maker. Thanks, all.
All right, everybody. Want to thank you for attending. Have a great week, and we will see you next Monday.
Yep. Cheers, guys.